morning. Hello, good morning. So I've got two devices running here, Instagram and of course Facebook and LinkedIn. So welcome. Let's talk about willpower because there's such a, how would you call it, a perception or a thought out there that when you have got willpower, you can get everything and anything done. So let me take a couple of things out of that because I'm going to share with you one way. So that's going to come up later on. One way which willpower you can use it and that you can actually increase the effectiveness of it. But first, we're going to talk about all of the way that we look at willpower and how it's really not working for us. So what am I talking about? Now, okay, we're headed into the end of the year. We're going to get started on those New Year's resolutions. And what do we usually have with these New Year's resolutions? All these things we say, oh, you know what? I'm going to get this done because I, believe that I can do it. And I have this willpower that's going to drive it behind there. Right? Or here's the other kicker that I've gotten too often is like, yeah, but if you just have the willpower, you get that done. Okay. Now, let me tell you on a little secret about willpower. Willpower is not infinite. Willpower is expendable and you only have so much willpower in each and every day. So when you're talking about we're going to do things based off of willpower, here's why this doesn't work quite so well as you think it should. And that mainly has to do because it is expendable, that you have a lot of willpower first thing in the morning and then it sinks off by the end of the day. So, really one of the best ways to look at this is if you've decided you're going to eat healthy. Now, how many of you have gone like every morning, like, yes, I'm really ready to go. I'm going to get my green shake. I'm going to do whatever it is, no carbs, no gluten, however you want to start your day, right? You're going to start off really well. You started off really good. And then usually by about lunchtime, you're going to start negotiating with yourself. Like, maybe I can sneak this in. By dinner time, most of that sneaking in is kind of all the way gone. And by the evening, you find yourself snacking on exactly what you said first thing in the morning you wouldn't do. Sound familiar? Because I know what happens to me is that I'll start off in the morning with the best of intentions and I'll have really my goal set for the day. And then it just kind of, by the end of the evening, I've done what I said I wasn't going to do first thing in the morning. That is because I am, but also all of you are relying too much on this willpower. This idea that if my willpower is strong enough, then I can do whatever I set my mind to. I get it. Most of us have. That's how we've grown up. That's what you may have heard it from your parents. But at the end of the day, willpower is expendable. So each time you need to use a bit of willpower, you have less for the next time. Okay, which is why in the mornings we have a lot, but the mornings we have to make a lot of decisions. There's lots of things going on. We're resisting a lot of different things, and each time we resist something, it costs us willpower, which by the end of the day, that battery is empty. There's nothing left in the tank for your willpower to then be able to use. Right? Pretty darn it. Right? So I can get that. That's a little bit of frustration. And if you're jumping in, make sure to say, hey, we're doing 10 minutes today and that's it. And if you've got any questions, comment below because I'd love to hear them. What happens after that? So if willpower is not going to be effective, well, then what do you do? Well, there is one way you could really use willpower and it could be really useful. And this is in the beginning. So this is when you start first off. So if you're going to start the day, starting a habit. And your habits, just to give you a little idea, we're going to get into this more next week, but habits are really about just small behaviors, small ways of doing, small ways of thinking that you, over time, you've done so often that you don't even think about doing it anymore. So consider the fact, look at how you brush your teeth in the morning. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't even recognize. You don't even think about it, right? You'll grab your toothbrush, as I do. I always have it in my right hand. You do your thing. Maybe you're looking around the mirror or you're checking out the bathroom. I'm sometimes looking going like, oh my God, look at the laundry, right? But I'm really not paying attention to what I'm doing with my teeth. I'm not paying attention. Am I going all the back here? Am I going all the back here? That's because you formed a habit. Or even different things like if you have coffee, you already add 2 sugars in a milk, for example, if that's how you drink your coffee, right? Even things like your drive to the office has become a habit. You will get in the car, and when you get to the end destination, and we get to work, all of a sudden you're like, well, hold on a minute. Like, did I remember how I drove? Most likely not, because you've done it so often, it's become a habit of how you drive to work. So that is really good, because that power of that habit you could use, couple it with the willpower in the morning, and that's how you can successfully actually use your willpower. But you cannot rely on your willpower to be what gets you the result. What the willpower is to do is sort of like the starting engine to get into your habit and build your habits from there. So if you want to use your willpower, use it first thing in the morning. Why? Because you have the most willpower at that moment in time. So if you want to start feeling like, okay, I want to switch out of coffee with a water because I feel that's more healthy, or I want to switch from coffee to green tea. I get I'm using a lot of food and diet terms. I think they're really easy, and we've all had those experiences, right? So if you're feeling like I got to do that, then do it first thing in the morning. Here's another way to use it. Still on building, like using the willpower to build a habit. So say if you're going to say, I want to, take more opportunities to speak up in a meeting. Well, then try it for a meeting that's first thing in the morning, or the first one you have in the day. Don't try and do it all the way through the day. You don't want to keep delaying until you get to the end of the day. But if you really want to step up and make a real contribution, and you really feel like you need that, you want to create that contribution, you've got that contribution to give, then give it first thing in the morning or in the first meeting you got. Again, the reason is because you can couple that willpower into the power of like, okay, I can do this right now. And if you do that create that into a habit, it's going to start showing up in your other meetings as well, or in your other interactions with your colleagues, with your families, with your friends, etc. It's going to trickle through. That's how you use willpower. Willpower on its own is overrated, because it simply is not effective. It is a diminished resource that goes away throughout the day. Usually the next morning it's replenished, but again, it diminishes throughout the day. So you want to use it very sporadically and very strategically by looking at it and saying, listen, I've got a change that I want to make this morning. I'm going to get this done. So how do I do that? I'm going to use my willpower to couple it into a habit. And that habit gets formed when you've done it over and over and over and over again, right? Sounds boring, sounds kind of sad, but that is really how you do it. Willpower is not going to be the way that you get to your end results, because there's just not enough there to keep you going throughout the entire day and every day thereafter. What you can do is by creating small little micro habits for yourself that you build onto them. Now, next week, I'm going to get into more about habits, because willpower is one way of creating a habit. And like I said, that's pretty much the only really effective way to use willpower, is by using it to build a habit. But there's other things about habits that are really good to know. So if you've ever heard the saying, your success is not as, I think I'm going to butcher that quote, but you're not going to live up to your goals. So whatever your goals are, you're going to fall to the level of your systems that you have in place. So what are the habits that you have in place that you want for your own success, for your own happiness, or even for how do you get more confidence and how do you feel better about yourself? It's all dependent on the systems or the habits that you have in place versus the goal that you've set for yourself. Okay, because that goal could feel unattainable, even though you've said I'm trying realistically. But if it feels unattainable, it's going to stay unattainable because you've got habits and systems in place down here, which are going to keep you here. So if you want to grow up to here, you're going to have to shift your habits and what you're doing as well. All right. So I promised 10 minutes. That is my 10 minutes of gold today. I will see you again on Wednesday of next week. Same time, 11:30. I realized I was a little late today. Had a sick kid that popped in to show me their drawing. So I will be here again on Wednesday, 11:30 Central European time, and we're going to talk more about habits. So I look forward to seeing you there. If you've got any questions, make sure to drop them below, and I will answer them when I see them. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you again soon.